This is lab 4, week 2, part 1. Lab 4, part 1, week 2. So we planted our seeds in last week, and we have the pots that have the drainage, the free drainage, and then we have the other pots that have the plastic in them to restrict the drainage. And so some of the seeds have germinated. We're going to zoom in on that, and you're going to be able to see what's happened. So over here we've got our tomatoes. And nothing's really happened yet. You can see we've got the regular, the natural soil and the nursery soil. There's no germination in those yet. And this next one, we've got pumpkins. Here's our restricted natural soil, restricted drainage natural soil. And we've got our natural soil over here with free drainage. And it looks like maybe a couple things are trying to break through. I can see a seed there. In our nursery soils, everybody seems to be quite happy. Got a couple seeds popping out on that one for the pumpkins. So the pumpkins are doing good. And then finally, we've got the cucumbers over here, and the cucumbers are quite happy right now. In the restricted drainage, at least currently, they've been quite happy with that. So maybe they needed that to start with. Even in the unrestricted drainage in the nursery soil, they're actually doing quite well. Interestingly enough, in the restricted drainage on the natural soil, we've got 2 cucumbers have popped out. So it seems like not having more than enough moisture, at least this first week, was good. Nothing's come up on those yet. The same with the pumpkins. Nothing's come up on a couple of them. So remember, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to see if drainage has an effect on growth, germination, and growth of these different seeds. So we just used 3 different seeds because we thought they would grow relatively rapidly and that we would be able to see the effects quite easily. So at this point, it's been week 1. We've only watered them initially. As a matter of fact, it hasn't even been, I think it's been just a week now that we've done that. We probably let these dry out maybe a little bit more than they needed to. Maybe we should have watered them like a day earlier. We're going to try to keep a little bit closer monitor on that to make sure that when one pot looks like it needs just a little bit of water, then every pot in that treatment, or every seed group, for instance, was going to get that. So if the tomatoes, the nursery soil that's one or the other of them, if it needs to be watered, we're going to water the other treatment the same amount, right? Regardless of whether it needs water or not. We're going to do that for each one of the seeds types and each one of the soil types. So if the nursery soil needs it, then the nursery soil gets all of that, right? But the natural soil doesn't get it if it doesn't need it. But when the natural soil needs to be watered, then both natural soils in the same seed type are going to get the same amount of water. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to monitor them really closely so that we don't have any other adverse effects. Because we're in a greenhouse, the plants are going to need some water, and since we're not outside, we're kind of controlling the environment, but we want to make sure that they don't end up having we're not creating an artificially great environment for them. That we want them to be, if they're going to be stressed, we want them to be stressed out. So we want to treat everything the same. That's the nature of all these experiments. We have to make sure we do the same thing to each one of them, and we have to do it at the right time.